Hello, and welcome back to Every Problem. This is Stewart Calculus, 8th edition, section 1.1, problem 44. For this set of problems, it says evaluate f of -3, f of 0, and f of 2 for the piecewise defined function. Then sketch the graph of the function. So for 44, we have f of x equals -1 if x is less than or equal to 1, and also f of x equals 7 minus 2x if x is greater than 1. So just to quickly go over what a piecewise defined a piecewise function is it's basically a function that has different parts to it. So right, with functions they'll say, oh, make a table of charts, and you'll plug in -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and so on and so forth, right? Well, with piecewise functions, there are different rules for different input values. So in this case, if you have any x value that's less than or equal to -1, your y value will just be -1. Sorry, I don't know if I said less than or equal to -1 or +1, but if x is less than or equal to 1, then your y value will be -1. Then, anytime you have an x value greater than 1, then you're going to use this rule for your function, 7 minus 2x. And that's all the piecewise function is. So they want us to find f of -3, f of 0, and f of 2. So we'll start with f of -3. And we can see that -3 is less than 1, so that's just going to be equal to -1. The next one was f of 0, and that's also less than 1, so we're going to have -1 again. Then at f of 2, well, that's greater than 1, so we have to use the rule 7 minus 2x. So 7 minus 2, our x value in this case is 2. It's going to be 7 minus 4, which gives us 3. So we have -1, -1, and 3. Then the second part of the question tells us to graph it. So let's go ahead and do that. And pretty much anytime x is less than or greater, less than or equal to 1, then it's just going to have a y value of -1. So we're going to start at x equals 1. We're just going to, anywhere behind x equals 1, we're just going to have that y value of -1 with a closed circle, right? That closed circle is because x can be equal to 1. That's really important. Then, for the second part of our piecewise function, we have 7 minus 2x if x is greater than 1. So I remember when we plugged in 2, we got 3. So we have x value 2, we go up 3, and, well, what happens as we get closer to 1 with this function? Well, as we get closer to 1, right, if we were to plug in 1 for x, we would get 7 minus 2, and that would give us 5. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we will have an open circle here. And then we'll just go ahead and connect the 2 points and keep going down. And the reason for that is because the open circle, that's because we can't have the function, the rule that they gave us is that x is greater than 1. So right at the point where x equals 1, we have to have this open circle because we already have a solution for the other part of the piecewise function, which is x less than equal to 1. The reason why this line here is trending downward is because if you look at the second part of the function, we have this minus 2x here, which means it has a slope of negative 2. And that's it for this problem.